Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Business as Unusual show. For those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Luke. I'm the CEO of Sleeping Giant Media and Giant Campus. We put on this show during isolation, during lockdown, to hopefully share some awesome ideas on a business level, on a personal level. I've got a fantastic guest on today, Pip Lawrence from the Wellbeing People. We had a seminar with her recently, which was exceptional for our team to really kind of help everybody deal with some of the challenges of lockdown, but also generally something great to be doing. So if you've got any questions related to that topic, or just any questions at all, do put them in the chat and we can put those over to Pip as we go. So let's get the show on the way. Hi guys, and happy Friday. We have thrived in yet another week, and again, I'm not talking about survival. I'm talking about thriving. So I hope everybody is doing okay. Feel free to say hi in chat. It's great to have some comments that we can kind of put to our guests today. So without further ado, let's introduce Pip. Pip, how are you doing?
I'm really good, thanks. Although I did just see it said go and grab a beer, so I'm a bit gutted that I don't have a beer.
Did you not get pre-warning? To be fair, this is non-alcoholic beverage I have today because I'm planning to do some exercise after this, which I'm hoping you approve of.
I swear, it's every time people talk to me, they think it's confession time. Don't need
I feel
to
guilty. I feel guilty already that I don't do enough. No, to be fair, I've been doing all right exercise-wise. I've been doing all right during the kind of the isolation, which has been good. I saw your post on LinkedIn of you bouncing the medicine ball as well. So clearly you've been.
That's my stress relief. What's your go-to, Luke? What have you been enjoying during lockdown?
My stress relief.
Or just your go-to exercise. What have you going to?
I love running, and this was actually, so as I mentioned before, we did a seminar with you, and someone mentioned headspace, and I then replied saying headspace plus running equals awesome. And you thought I was meditating whilst I was running. Just to be clear, I haven't tried that yet. I'm not saying that, I haven't. My go-to is Nike Run Club with Coach Bennett. I've got a bit of a crush on Coach Bennett. He's so motivational, and also he does a whole session with Andy Puddicombe, I think it is, from Headspace, and they do a whole guided run, which is my go-to stress reliever, which is amazing.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So what other stuff do you get up to sort of during lockdown? What are sort of things have you been doing?
So I've not really stopped working, which I'm sure there's a lot of people watching this show that are the same. It's funny, isn't it? It seems to, like, obviously we deliver a lot of wellbeing webinars like since lockdown and things, and it's really interesting because obviously I try and make them as interactive as possible, and I often ask like loads of questions, and it's such a 50-50 split where, like, I say to some people, like, has life improved since lockdown? Has it got worse? And it's like yes, no, yes, no, yes, no that comes through. And I think, like, that's really, like, for me, been the biggest eye opener with everything with lockdown, is that people are just dealing with it in such different ways that we have to be very mindful of that.
Yeah.
But me personally, it's given me a little bit more time. I don't think I realised how much I'd been filling up my social calendar. So I'd definitely been doing the work hard, play hard thing. And the sort of enforced rest has been really, really beneficial for me and my well-being and things. So that's been nice. I've spent lots of like quality time at home with my other half, and garden looks amazing. The house has never looked better. All of those sorts of things.
And you're definitely making sure that you are having that rest time, because that sounds pretty busy. That sounds pretty busy right there.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a funny one, isn't it? Because I think if you naturally have that entrepreneurial kind of mindset, you are just that, generally a type A person, so you're a doer. But yeah, I definitely try to find that balance between, okay, do those things and put that little bit of stress on yourself, but then also make sure that you have that rest and recovery time.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, so you mentioned about kind of the entrepreneurial aspect. Did you do you want to give everybody a bit of a background, so where you kind of started off and what you're up to now?
Yeah, sure. So around about 2014, I started a company called Day One Wellness, which is where probably more people know me from. And I was saying to you kind of before, obviously we went live, that if COVID had happened this time last year, it would have been a massive curveball for me, because this time last year I was in negotiations with Wellbeing People around merging the two companies and things. So that all really came about because I trained the MD of Wellbeing People. So Wellbeing People before I joined were predominantly engagement. So their main thing was, how do we engage people in wellbeing so that it opens up that conversation, so that then people can start taking personal responsibility. And then from training Ben and having sort of like those conversations with Ben, like the bit I used to struggle with was engaging people in wellbeing, but once they were engaged, then we have the Recalibrate Wellbeing program, which then takes people on those simple steps to then make sustainable change. And the bit Wellbeing People didn't have was a like trusted referral pathway.
Right. Yeah.
So it was literally like the perfect combination that then, like, since we've come together, we've just been able to do really, really amazing things. And yeah, I'm really excited for the year sort of coming with everything that we've been developing behind the scenes.
Awesome. No, I mean, and obviously, you know, you came in to do a session. I say came in. You did it via Zoom. Was it? It was Zoom, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm losing track of all the different pieces of tech, but yes, via Zoom, and it worked really well actually. The remote format wasn't a major kind of hindrance as well, which is quite exciting. It must be useful for you in terms of actually being able to get out and about. I do a lot of speaking myself as well, and you don't have to travel anywhere near as much as I used to, and I'm assuming the same for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think it does come with that catch-22 though, doesn't it? Because obviously, like you said, you do a lot of speaking, and it is that there is just something very different around when you're standing in a room just talking to a camera. Like for the first few weeks, I just kept on like coming home to my other half and saying, there was like 350 people in this webinar, but I'm standing in a room just talking to myself. Like it's very hard to, if you were going onto a stage in front of that many people, I think you would get a lot more anxiety. And that it's just like some of the webinars I've been delivering, it's almost it's almost too hard to comprehend how many people are sitting on the other side of that screen.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a comment in the chat from Nell saying awesome session. There's Kaylee there. Hi, she says hi. And Sam, no, one of my girls did not cut one of my earphones. I've got producer Alex in this one, and this is actually the sound of the show, just so that Alex can kind of tell me off for doing stuff, or just make it more difficult for me to deliver this as well. So guys, as well, any questions that you have again for Pip, please do put them in the chat. Pip, what's your view on, because obviously you do lots of the speaking, and I was talking to the team about some top tips for remote delivery to help, because again, it's something we do obviously quite a lot of. What's your kind of your top tips? I sort of said to them, it feels like sometimes that you're just sort of talking into an abyss because you get very little feedback. How do you kind of handle that yourself with the stuff that you've been doing?
Yeah, so I would say, so there's a couple of different services that we do. So a one-off webinar, it always makes it a lot harder because it's, you're literally just going in straight fresh. But we also then do webinar programs, which then makes it a little bit easier because you're basically building a relationship with those people over a course of the webinars. But my top tips would definitely be polls are really, really useful. So we use polls in a way that then it just gets people engaged straight away. It means that then as soon as they've sort of logged on, then they're starting to answer questions. And so I would just make sure that the questions are really specific, because obviously a poll, you've only got certain answers, and you don't want people to kind of be like, what? I don't really understand what they mean by that question. Like, you want to make it like as specific as possible. And so we ask certain questions like, what's interested you in today's topic, and then make like some funny answers as well. So it might be like curiosity, I'm interested in this topic, or my boss has forced me to come on this webinar, so that then we can make it a bit lighthearted. And then really my first go-to is to try and engage people right from the off. So to try and get that chat box working right from the very beginning. So whether it's a question that you lead with, or, and again, making the answer as simple as possible. So the answer either being a yes or a no, or, giving them that option so that then you get that engagement right from the off. But it can be really hard. I mean, we've had some where it's like less than 10 people, which the organisation, have funded. But it's just like, if you've got less than 10 people on the other side of the screen, it's almost like the equivalent of delivering a workshop to 2 people.
Yeah.
It's quite hard to then generate that engagement.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you think, there's a comment in the chat, do you think this is the sort of the end of excuses for public speaking? So if someone says, I'm scared of, because actually now they're in front of the camera, you haven't got that big audience. So someone who might, as you said, if you were delivering to 350 people, you might be a bit nervous of doing that on stage, but actually it's the same delivery in front of a camera.
Yeah,
or is it just different levels of anxiety about different things?
Yeah, I would say it's different levels of anxiety, because then you're still going to get people who are like, I'm anxious of the technology, or I'm anxious something's going to go wrong. So, there's always going to be that. But as with anything, like our entire motto at Wellbeing People is progress, not perfection. And that's what I've dragged in from Day One Wellness. And it's the whole thing that if you want to master anything, you have to just put that groundwork in, and you have to keep practicing and put yourself out there, and know that you're going to fail. But so we have another one where we say it's the win or learn mindset, where it's like you either win and you deliver something and it goes amazing, or if it doesn't, then you learn from it and then you win anyway. So it's kind of taking that approach and stepping into it, because otherwise that fear just stops you from doing anything in the first place, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a question in chat, but I'm going to quickly jump to this scene here, because I want to run a video that relates to this. So this is all about going back to work, a slightly Americanized version. Canned laughter.
Answer it! Hello? Honey, you scared me. What's the name of the company again?
So there's a comment in the chat from, I'm trying to tie 2 things together here, from Dan Locke, asking about, do you run any webinars related to tips for people going back to work? Because some people are going to have some anxieties around kind of going back to work. Is there anything that you guys are doing specifically around that topic, or one of the kind of existing topics that you do that could relate to that perhaps?
Yeah, definitely. So every quarter we release a new webinar, and the one that we released most recently was the proactive approach to the new norm, which was some new content around actually just looking at a deeper dive into how the brain works, and why there's certain amounts of anxiety around certain things, and what you can do to build that foundation of well-being that then supports you in this, because ultimately it's the big change that causes that anxiety, isn't it? So the quicker you can go through that change curve, then the more that we can get our brain working in its prefrontal cortex, instead of that kind of limbic system or the amygdala, where we're kind of just going into panic mode. So we have a brilliant webinar called the proactive approach to the new norm, which really helps people to put that foundation of well-being in place, and then build on top of that.
So there we go, Dan. Yes, you can get involved with that indeed. So there should be some awesome content. And as I said, we had Pip in doing a session with the team this week, which was fantastic. So I would definitely recommend that. I'm going to jump back because we've got some slightly more light-hearted videos, which might kind of lead on to some nice stuff. So the question here is, have you been getting involved with any of the TikTok challenges? Here's another one. Last bit of Enya. Is this Enya? I think this is Enya. It's kind of how I feel on some days, particularly yesterday. I felt very much like that, mainly because of, I think I was on a Zoom call from about 8:30 through to about 5. And I'm guessing there were different ones. It wasn't the same one. But have you been getting involved with any of these random social media activities at all? TikTok particularly being seems to be the kind of the social network of choice during lockdown.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I'm really not great on social media at all. It's just not my place. I kind of think of social media a little bit like alcohol and caffeine, and that it's great in small doses, but otherwise it can become really damaging to you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I'm not great on TikTok, although I have seen some very interesting and amazing videos that have been forwarded on into WhatsApp groups from my friends and things. But no, how about yourself? Are you involved in TikTok?
Me personally, I get videos from the guys and they say, look at this. I'm more of a kind of, I watch it for some funny stuff, from some light-hearted content from time to time. I have to say, I find I'm loving LinkedIn personally at the moment. I do try to switch off from it from time to time in the evenings. I'm doing a very bad job of this, I have to say. So I have, because I went into lockdown, I had all of my holidays saved for March. So I had a really good March planned, and I was really excited. And I was like, I'm going to keep working really hard till March. And then obviously this all happened. So I don't think I've actually had a holiday for 6 months. So I've got to take a day off, which I'm taking off next Friday, which I'm quite excited about.
Good to hear.
Which is why we are having a pause in the show. Okay, it's the first one we're going to miss since started. But I was like, guys, I think I need a bit of a day. But yeah, no, I think I'm enjoying LinkedIn. There's actually some really, really good articles, which is kind of helping understand the situation and kind of adapt for it. Would you believe it? We have already reached the halfway mark. I'm waiting for the very halfway mark. Mark Zuckerberg today, everybody. So yeah, guys, if you know of any other marks, please do put them in chat, because we're kind of running out of marks. We're kind of going through the famous ones. We're running out, and we need them for the halfway mark as it kind of comes up. And there's a question in chat from Kaylee. So it looks like you stand up whilst you're presenting your webinars. Is that a tip that you would recommend?
Yeah, so one of the biggest part of really our program, our signature program, is about giving people the 20% of wellbeing hacks that gets them 80% of results. Mm-hmm. And one of those hacks is, we call it our movement medicine, which is 45-10-2. So it's move every 45 minutes, spend 10 minutes outside a day, a minimum of, and then 2 minutes of exertion. So something that gets your heart rate pumping. Mm-hmm. And so I'm lucky enough to have a Veri desk, so I can move my desk up and down. And yeah, if I'm ever on calls or I'm presenting, then I always stand. And if I really need to sort of get into some deep work and type a lot, then I'm more likely to sit. But I mean, whilst you're at home, especially if you're on Zoom calls and you're just listening, I'd highly recommend just even stacking up some boxes and things where then you can, so then you just get that posture break and movement break. And it's so important as well, because, blood obviously flows around our system. If we're sitting down, we're stagnated. So we need that blood flow to push up to our brain. So yeah, I would highly recommend standing to present or to listen to calls.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I've taken that on board, actually. And I've done 43 minutes of exercise today. So I had loads of Zoom calls Hangouts. And I was in the garden walking around. So I was trying to make sure. Nice. I think I'm on my longest ever movement streak ever since I bought the watch years ago, so that's quite exciting.
Winning.
Exactly, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's again I think it's just trying to make sure that I remind myself to do those sorts of things. There's a question in the chat from Dan Corp. Hi Dan, good to see you. Hey guys, do we think that companies are going to be investing more in well-being going forwards? What's your thoughts on that? I mean, I bet you're hoping they are, obviously, given what you do, but yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the wellbeing industry is really, really growing. I think the interesting thing from our point of view is that the industry is completely unregulated. And so for us, this is an incredible opportunity for us to really, I mean, we're working really hard behind the scenes with all sorts of organizations to actually start creating the wellbeing industry. Because the way that we see it is that you've got emergency healthcare on one side, which is obviously essential, and we need those NHS workers. We need people that are on that front line, because otherwise, when we need that emergency care, we've got no one to go to. And then we've got the fitness industry on the other side, and people are trying to make that jump. And the biggest problem is that without a foundation of well-being, it just ends up where people then end up being injured or getting illnesses and then ending up back in that emergency healthcare. And so where there's lots of talk around there needs to be more investment into healthcare, actually the investment really needs to be in well-being, because that's where the prevention is. That's where we're going to save the economy an awful lot of money. And so yeah, that's I think definitely the trend is that more people, and I think well-being's a lot more accessible as well. Like our services start from not very expensive, whereas I think before it used to be that you'd have to sign up to a whole year-long program, and there'd be all of these logistical hurdles you'd have to jump over. And I think it's just companies like ourselves and others are just making it much more accessible for people and businesses.
Yeah. Do you think the sort of the lockdown or the situation has it from the people that you're speaking to, because obviously you've been running this for a while now, how do you think that has impacted it? Are people more aware of their health? Are they are you seeing that they're more active or not as well, based on the conversations that you're having, the seminars that you're running?
Yeah, so individuals, again, it's a real 50-50 split. So I was doing a webinar the other day on how to build easy exercise habits, and it was literally a 50-50 split. Some people were saying they're moving much more, other people are saying no, they're really stuck to their laptops at home and things. But I think the awareness around wellbeing is so much bigger because, even you take COVID as an example, people who are dying of this illness who are under the age of 75, they're dying because they're either obese, they have high blood pressure, or they have diabetes. Like, those are the three common comorbidities that go with it. And so it's that awareness of going, well, actually, if we can prevent those illnesses from happening in the first place, obviously it's not just COVID, but it's then other illnesses that are going to stop people. And, our mission is to empower as many people as possible to live their best life. So if we can prevent them from getting these illnesses, then obviously we can save the NHS an awful lot of money, but also help a lot of people on the way.
Yeah. How do you think this is affecting, because one of the challenges, I guess, as a business owner is what sits on the company as a responsibility versus the individual, and how do you kind of, I mean, obviously, as a company we put that on because we want our guys to kind of invest in it because it's beneficial to them, but not all companies would see it that way. How do you see that in terms of the sort of the responsibility?
Yeah, so I think it's a really, really important and really valid question, because for us, the responsibility of the organisation is to create an environment for wellbeing, whereas the responsibility of the individual is to take personal responsibility for their wellbeing. We don't want to get into a kind of parent-child relationship where, Luke, you're telling your employees, you need to drink more water, you need to go out for a run, because that's just an invasion of that kind of work-life balance. Whereas, exactly like you're doing, by creating that environment, then you're giving your employees an opportunity to have those light bulb moments, and hopefully some of your team have taken one or two little nuggets of wisdom out that then they can start implementing, and then it benefits both sides, right? Because then as an organization, you've got happier, healthier employees, and as an employee, then they're happier and healthier in themselves. So yeah, that's where we see the split, that it's got to be you can't like spoon feed people.
Yeah, so
it has to
put it in place and then put it in place, let them allow them to do that. And actually, we've got some shout out to Max as well. Max is one of our guys who is running a lot. Ben in the chat, although he didn't watch the shows last week, clearly, because there was Mark Howell on the show as our halfway mark. He's also been out there doing some running. So we got some guys that are pretty keen on that. I'd like to jump to a quick game. Oh, hang on. Oh no, I'm on the wrong thing. Hang on. Wait. There we go. Producer Alex has already been drawing on that one. Thanks for that, Alex. This is, I believe, also a very good from a well-being perspective as well. Is the drawing? Maybe not on screens, but we'll just ignore that for now. I would like to challenge you to this. So we're going to get 30 seconds to draw. I'm not using an iPad this time. I'm going to be drawing with a mouse and keyboard on another computer. So are you ready for the challenge?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
So what, I just draw whatever comes up on screen?
Best drawing of a brain. We've got 30 seconds. Yours is on the right-hand side. I will draw it on the left-hand side.
I've not got that screen up.
Oh, quick, you got to go. Hang on. Okay, I'll pause. Okay, if you go to...
Shall I hit refresh?
If you go to the top of the screen, there's a little canvases. You see, like...
yes, yeah. Okay, sorry.
That's all good. That's all good.
Okay, yeah, ready.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me just undo this. I don't know where I was going to go with this. Are we ready? Steady. The counter has started now. Okay, we're off. We're drawing.
Oh, why won't it let me?
Oh, you're dragging stuff. Why are you dragging stuff?
Oh, I'm moving. Sorry, I've made it all.
Oh yeah. Oh. Yes. There's the limbic system, the prefrontal cortex.
I'm going prefrontal cortex there.
And there's a little spinal cord that's dropping down there. I'm gonna go out on a limb there. I think I've done all right with that one. Guys,
I'm sorry to whoever designed your lovely backdrop, and I've just moved it all around.
Just moved it around. What is going on there? Okay, good. We got someone being annoying in the chat. Thank you very much. We're going to block you. Thanks for coming. And we're moving on to the next game. let's move on. Okay, best drawing of each other. Right. Oh my goodness, I need to actually get you on the screen because I've just been staring at my camera, so I have better eye contact. Right. Okay, here we go.
I'm going to apologise for this right at the beginning. You're never going to talk to me again,
No,
Luke.
you're fine. Oh no, actually, what am I doing? You got your hair tied up. Okay.
Yeah, come on. We're 12 weeks in lockdown. Of course, I got my hair tied up.
Oh my goodness me, what is going on here? Oh my.
That's what you think of me. Charming.
Mine did not go as planned at all. What are you saying that about you? What do I look like? Goodness me.
Okay,
oh
so
no,
those
I
are
forgot to
supposed
move
be
the screen.
Those aren't chubby cheeks.
Oh, sorry guys.
Say.
I forgot to move this. I forgot to move the screen. There it is. That's what we came up with. This is my challenge. I've got two computers to contend with here. This is why I used the iPad last time. Right. Okay. On to the last one. Here we go. I'm gonna click at the same time. Okay. SpongeBob. Off we go.
Okay.
SpongeBob from memory. Oh my goodness me.
It's quite hard to draw with a mouse, isn't it?
It is really difficult. Yeah. Oh yeah.
SpongeBob
Yeah.
got glasses.
I don't actually. Oh.
Who's scoring these?
We're going to put them out to chat. And we probably just do. We have to do it on LinkedIn. Is that another drawing? Is that another drawing of me that you're trying to put together there?
Oh, sorry, I got confused on the last one.
It's impressive. So, guys in chat, do let us know what you think of those, who you think the winner is overall, and we'll put that out to LinkedIn. We'll see who comes off, and we'll kind of regroup on that one in a few days' time, I'm sure. So we are quickly running out of time, and I'd like to give you an opportunity now. This is nothing. There's no mindfulness involved with this one at all. Alex, producer, I'm gonna have to hang up on you in a second. There's nothing mindful about this game. This is high pressure, high stress, but the prizes are significant. You could win, in fact, the limited edition Sleeping Giant Media mug, which is very, very exciting. The leaderboard as it stands at the moment, so we have Anouk, who was on with Natalie before a couple of weeks ago with 4. Carl Sakers in second place with 3, and Deirdre Wells, who was on Wednesday, tied in that place. So we've got 4 to beat. Okay, so this is a team game. Heads Up is the game that we're looking for. And just in case you don't know the rules, we're going to be doing blockbuster movies. It's going to appear on the screen, and you have to explain it to me. It's a tough one.
Movies not a strong category for me. Can we not do like animals or something?
It's so easy. That's what we did before. We have to do this one. Okay. Oh, Danny said that you won 2-1. Danny, mate, come on, man. On the drawing competition.
Thanks, Danny.
That's not fair. Right. I feel like I'm never going to win these games regardless anyway. So okay, let's do blockbuster movies. 4 to beat. You can do this. We can do this. Okay, I'm going to make sure it's good. Right, there we go.
Oh, okay, so it's a puppet with a really long nose.
Pinocchio.
Yes. No idea, pass.
Okay.
So if you've so if you're in a relationship with someone and you touch lip to lip, it is
the kiss.
Yeah, and if that always happens, the opposite to the always happening.
Never kiss.
Almost never something.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've looked at it accidentally. Let's give that quickly.
Oh my goodness, pass. I think the mug's going.
It doesn't. It's not great. Come on.
I have no idea. Pass. Told you, movies are not my strong point.
This is.
Pass. Oh, okay. So the opposite of Superman, a female version of Superman.
Supergirl.
But no, but she wears.
What is going on there?
Wonder Woman.
Pinocchio.
Movies are not my strong point. Don't watch TV. It's bad for your well-being.
Oh, you could. I would definitely have got Moana. FYI. I've seen it about 1 billion times. I have 2 girls who are obsessed by that. So
that's the difference. I don't have children.
yeah, no, you'd have got Moana. That is a classic. Have you seen Moana, by the way?
No, but you're picking it up, so maybe that's my Friday night movie.
That is, if you've got Disney Plus, I shouldn't promote this, but it is awesome. It's a wicked film. But,
seeing a different side to you, Luke.
Yeah, well, again, I have to say I was a little bit skeptical of Frozen the first time I watched it, but I have to say it was incredible, and I now know all the song lyrics to every single aspect of Frozen, which I'm sure will feature on a show in the future. But we are now out of time, would you believe? Thank you very much for your time, Pip. I think there was, as I said, the session that you did with the team was absolutely fantastic, and yeah, it's such an important topic. So I wish you the best of luck with the sort of the growth of the topic and talking to more businesses. I'm sure you will be doing that.
Yeah, definitely. No, thank you very much. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do our resilience and mental fitness workshop with your team. It was good fun. And thanks for having me on the show.
Brilliant. Well, I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody, and we'll catch up again very briefly. Guys, that is it from us today. We have a show again on Wednesday. Look at this little scene here. Hi there. So we will be back again next Wednesday at 4:30. Again, talking about the challenges that businesses faces, the opportunities, and hopefully sharing some awesome ideas. So in the meantime, have a fantastic weekend and look forward to catching up with you next Wednesday. Thank you very much.